Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a fabulous day, fabulous week, getting ready to go into the weekend. Some of you already in the weekend, depending on where you are plugging into this program from. And whether you're here live or watching the replay, we welcome you. You are valuable and you are worth the knowledge that you are going to be hearing today. So this is stuff that you're not going to hear just anywhere and every day, and probably not from your primary care physician. But we do want to make sure that if you choose to take any of the steps that we are talking about today, and you are under the care of a primary care physician, that you do talk to your primary care physician, because as you start a quality nutritional program, your body is going to be making some amazing positive changes and advancements in its journey. And we encourage you to feel the difference with us here, as the information that we share on Ask Doc Live is not meant to take the place of your primary care physicians. And the content of this program is to provide educational information only on the importance of nutrition and supplementation, because our food supplies around the world, folks, they are becoming null and void of minerals, especially minerals. There's just not there. And minerals are the currency of life, not just to survive and make it through life, but to thrive. And we encourage you to take the information in this program as options to create that solid foundation of getting the 90 essential nutrients that our good doctor found to be so vital in being able to have a strong, thriving, healthy life. My name is Rebecca Dukes-Kozak, and I am the host of the next 2 hours. So thank you for joining me and my co-hosts. I love the fact that I have some incredible co-hosts on with me. We have Ruth Ellen Sanchez, Heather Bowen, Dr. Judy Reynolds, Nasima Omar, and John T. McCollier. We are here to make sure that you are getting the information without interruption and complete. So everybody, welcome again to Ask Doc Live. I love seeing new faces and new names on with us. So exciting. So very exciting. Now, we bring good news, folks. If you have been told that you have a genetic condition, well, the gentleman that we host on this program is one of the founding fathers of a science called epigenetics. And epigenetics is a science. So when people say, where's the science? Where's the proof? Where's the research? Well, we've got it. We've got it. It's published. And a lot of it is part of a national treasure that is held at the Smithsonian Institute in one of his very first publications. So I'm excited because he has also received in 2011 the Klaus Schwartz Commemorative Medal, the Lifetime Achievement on Natural Medicine and Philanthropy from the United Nations, and he receives the Dr. Wallach, Gerhard Schwauser.
Gerhard Schwauser was associated with the Klaus Schwartz Award. He was Klaus Schwartz's prime #1 student, and he was my #1 mentor when it comes to minerals and so forth. He was the head of the Department of Biochemistry at the University of California, LA, Los Angeles. And Gerhard Schwauser just was a wonderful, wonderful guy. And he was one that actually steered the committees to award me the Klaus Schwartz Award. Dr. Milan and I had done 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 in Heilongjiang province in China, Qishan University. We're looking for the cause, prevention, and cure for cystic fibrosis. I found the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis, 1977. And to make a long story short, I was able to prove that cystic fibrosis was not a genetic disease, as the medical system found. And when I wrote up my paper to present it to get it published, I was working for the Yerkes Primate Center and found these monkeys with cystic fibrosis and got it all ready to publish, and they summarily fired me. Okay, because they thought I was crazy. That's the Yerkes Primate Center and Emory University in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And then, to make a long story short, we're going to jump forward. And to make a long story short, our attorney, Jonathan Emor, and myself, we petitioned and sued, and we petitioned and sued, and we petitioned and sued many years to get these nutrients put into the baby formula, Similac, Enfamil, and the like, so we could eliminate these diseases. To make a long story short, we were able to quickly eliminate cystic fibrosis, thought to be a genetic disease. We're able to eliminate muscular dystrophy, thought to be a genetic disease. And we gave the information to Jerry Lewis in June of, let's see here, in June of 1991. And
So it's, I think it was
2011.
2011, yeah.
I'm sorry, 2011. Thank you. And Jerry was so excited. We asked him to be a featured speaker when I was getting my award in October of 2011. Okay, to get that Lifetime Achievement Award and also the Klaus Schwartz Award for the cystic fibrosis thing. And we told Jerry what we were going to do once we wound up the cystic fibrosis thing. We were going to take our entire army and go after muscular dystrophy, because we already believed we knew the cause, prevention, cure of that one. Because once we put those nutrients into the baby formulas, muscular dystrophy just about disappeared. You don't hear about it anymore. You don't hear about cystic fibrosis anymore. You don't hear about sudden death syndrome anymore. Doctors thought that sudden death syndrome was caused by mothers laying on their babies and suffocating the babies. You've all heard that. Well, that was nonsense, of course. And so you don't hear about those diseases anymore because we were able to get these nutrients put into the baby formulas.
Well, Dr. Wallach, I'm going to stop you and interrupt you real quick, because we have a special guest on that's with us, and I had no idea. But we have Coder here with his daughter, who is on the 90 essential nutrients. Well, yeah, all of your recommendations for muscular dystrophy. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how is she doing?
She's great. Thank you, doctor. She's doing well. She was sleeping a lot, staying in bed a lot, but since taking the nutrients, she's been out of bed.
Okay, now stop there a minute. Was she officially diagnosed with muscular dystrophy?
Yeah, limp girdle.
Okay, and so now, okay, so now she's good. Yeah, we need to, not today, but we need to talk longer and maybe do a nice kind of a news release or something, okay?
Yeah, we'd like to, yeah, because but I don't see any muscle growth. I'm not sure what she should do or shouldn't do. Doctors say she shouldn't exercise. I'm not sure what the recommendation is, doctor.
Okay, well, how much does she weigh?
She's 90 pounds.
90 pounds, okay. She needs to get rid of all the bad foods to maximize absorption. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. She can use our Rebound, our sports drink. If she uses the canned one, she got to pop the top in the evening, put them in the refrigerator, and then drink it the next morning, because it has a little bit of carbonation in there. Has 100 nutrients. And then she needs one healthy brain and heart pack per month, a half a dose of breakfast, half a dose of dinner. She needs 1 bottle a month of the MSM. She can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner. That's going to help regrow cartilage and ligaments and tendons and connective tissue and muscle and all that kind of stuff. Okay, just we only have minutes here. Let me finish quickly. She needs the collagen peptides, a scoop of that in her morning drink, a scoop of that in her evening drink, again to rebuild muscles and collagen and connective tissue and cartilage and so forth, tendons and ligaments. And then we want her to also have vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day, so she can absorb these minerals, put them in the right place. And we let's see here. Let's start.
What about HGH? I know that helps support muscle growth.
Sure. She could have the HGH, take 2 doses of that a day, HGH, human growth hormone. Okay. Well, let's start there. And don't forget the Rebound sports drink. It has 100 nutrients in it, including 75 minerals and 25 vitamins, amino acids. It comes in a powder, in a canister. It comes in a box of sticks, and it also comes in a case of cans. Well, the cans can have carbonation in them, so you got to pop the tops in the evening, put them in the refrigerator, and let her drink one at morning, one at noon. And it's quite safe, but it has 100 nutrients in it instead of, the colas and orange juice and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I know we have a big program this morning, so I'm going to flip this back over to
We do have a big program, and Dr. Wallach, you look beautiful, sweetheart.
Isn't she cute?
Not you, doctor. She
Very,
Sorry.
very cute young lady.
Just one more question, if I could. Her nails don't grow. She's never been able to grow her nails.
her fingernails.
Okay, we have
Yeah,
a product called Hair, Skin, and Nails. Hair, Skin, and Nails is designed to grow nails. Hair, Skin, and Nails. She needs to take 2 of those twice a day. 1 bottle a month will last her. Hair, Skin, and Nails. And it's designed to deal with the hair, with the skin, and obviously the fingernails and toenails. All this will come right, especially, she could be taking the collagen peptides. She could be taking the MSM. Those things all are raw materials to grow nails.
Yeah. Thanks,
Awesome.
Doctor.
Thank you. And make sure that you stick close with your longevity distributor and, keep your story going, because we want to follow you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we want to make a news release.
there's also doctors who want to operate on her legs. She's a toe walker, and they want to operate on her legs.
No surgery.
That'll fix up.
This
in
will fix
time.
up all her tendons and ligaments so she stops toe walking.
Yeah, because they're pushing for a surgery, doctor.
Oh, yeah. The doctor has a kid in college and tuition is due.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
doctor.
on with us.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, thanks for that.
Oh, blessings to you.
Blessings to you back.
So sorry, I had no idea, Dr. Wallach, but that is going to be one of our next.
We have 1 or 2 more sentences, and then, that's got to be one of our next programs. When Jerry Lewis told the Muscular Dystrophy Association he was going to be a featured speaker at the Klaus Schwartz Award for me, they summarily fired him after 50 years in raising $2.5 billion for the research. After 50 years and $2.5 billion, they summarily terminated him, put a gag order on him, and canceled the telethon. That was the Muscular Dystrophy Association in 2011.
Well, we come at it from a different approach, Dr. Wallach, and it's not about the dollar, it's about helping the person itself. And that's where I really appreciate all of the research that you have done and what you have put into longevity and creating it before handing it over to your son, because now you're focused on making sure that information gets out there, writing the books and wellness publications. So the focus is on the people and helping them get better.
Let's do it.
So yes, let's do it. And today, everybody, we, in the first part of this program, and I know we've got a couple hands up already, but in the first part of this program, we are going to be playing day 2 of the health conference at World Changers Church. So bear with us as we go through this, because Dr. Wallach shares a lot of information that I know many of you have heard, but there's a lot of people that still have not heard this information, and this information gives hope to so many diseases that are part of the top 10 killers around the world. So without further ado, Dr. Wallach, I am going to get this party started, and hopefully everything goes without any interruption.
Turn around and greet your neighbors and welcome them here tonight. Y'all came back tonight. Amen. Praise God. You may be seated. Hey, I don't want to waste any time. Let's welcome Dr. Joel Wallach as he comes tonight. Amen. Praise the Lord.
Oh, thank you, Pastor Dollar and Pastor Taffy and his whole crew. They've been so wonderful. Really appreciate the help that everybody's given. And I have to thank the greatest physician of all, right? Who has always been, who is, and who will ever be the greatest physician, our Lord Jesus. And we love him forever. And I know he loves us forever. And I appreciate you being here. I know we're on the right track because many of you come back. I do see and recognize faces. And I'm glad you're here because we're going to talk about detail tonight that you wouldn't have believed yesterday. For those of you who were here yesterday, you understand that what we covered was pretty outrageous. This is going to be 10 times more outrageous tonight because oftentimes the truth is outrageous. And just for those that weren't here last night, just very briefly, the human being requires certain elements to be healthy. These things are not optional. Everybody knows we need oxygen. Everybody knows we need water. But oftentimes they don't know that we need these 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids, because we've been given misinformation. Physicians will tell you, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need from your food. That's not true. Minerals, for instance, make up 2/3 of the 90 essential nutrients. And minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ripple ice cream. And a plant only needs 3 minerals to be healthy and make good seeds for the next generation. Human beings need 60. So you can eat a pretty good slice of organically grown multigrain bread and be 57 minerals short and wind up with lots of diseases. Because they're called essential nutrients because if you're missing them, you get diseases. Calcium deficiency, for instance, you can wind up with 147 different diseases and need 30 different specialists. You'll be on at least 50 different prescription drugs. And all you have to do is supplement with the 90, we call it the Mighty 90, and with special attention to calcium, and in a few weeks, a few months, all 30 to 50 of those diseases are gone. Praise God. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to cover, I believe, about 5 major diseases, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. Pastor gave me permission to answer questions a little bit. We'll have some fun with that. And so if we could have that first slide. We're going to do a little review from yesterday for those that weren't here. We're going to start out with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is not genetic. I'm going to say this to the different points of the compass because I know it's kind of a shock. High blood pressure is not genetic. High blood pressure is not genetic. High blood pressure is a simple mineral deficiency disease that can afflict anybody. Simple mineral deficiency disease. You supplement with the minerals, you don't get it. If you don't supplement with the minerals, you do get high blood pressure, and if you supplement with minerals, it goes away. It's just that simple. High blood pressure medication can lower blood pressure, but it doesn't solve the problem that caused the high blood pressure. You can symptomatically reduce high blood pressure, but you're still going to die from the complications of high blood pressure, even if though your blood pressure is, quote, under control, unquote. So once you appreciate that, you're going to add 25 to 50 healthful years to your life. We can go to the next slide, please. And of course, it's getting more difficult today to control high blood pressure with medications. And they have to give you 3 different medications, and some medications are combinations of 2 and 3 medications. They didn't have to do that years ago. Years ago, they could give you 1 medication and get your blood pressure down into the normal range. But it's difficult today because of a disease we call celiac disease. It's also known as irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, or Crohn's disease, which are all the same disease, just different degrees of severity. And if you have any of these problems, which show up as constipation, diarrhea, dermatitis, eczema, asthma, you can wind up, people with 20 different diseases usually have celiac disease. You give up gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Within a couple of weeks, you're considerably better. Within a couple of months, usually most of those diseases are gone when you take the Mighty 90, the 90 essential nutrients with the gluten-free diet. And so we can go to the next slide. And salt, everybody wants to tell you that salt is a bad thing. Salt is somehow related to high blood pressure. Whether you believe it or not, how many of you have heard that salt has something to do with high blood pressure? Okay, good. We've all heard that. Well, the first thing a good farmer puts out for his livestock is a big salt block, right? And there's nobody out in the pasture telling a cow she's limited to 1 lick a day, is there? And so I refuse to believe my human patients are dumber than a cow. So I said, look, go ahead and just salt your food to taste. Don't worry about it. And people will say, well, every time I use salt, I swell up. My ankles get all fat, you know, and swollen. And I get worried about that. Well, when you swell up, when you get edema in your ankles and your face and your hands, when you use salt, that means that you have a low blood protein. You eat 4 to 6 eggs every day, and within 2 weeks you can salt your food with impunity and you won't swell up anymore. You raise that blood protein up. People say to me, well, I can't eat eggs because my doctor said I got to worry about cholesterol. We're going to cover that in a minute. Remember I told you a lot of misinformation? When we get to that part, you are going to be shocked. Okay, let's go to the next one. That little box down there in the middle, this was actually the same study I just showed you on salt. That particular study was actually a government study called the Sodium Task Force. They said medical doctors want you to get your salt intake to 1 gram a day, which is kind of like a half a teaspoon of salt a day. And if you do that, it increases your risk of dying of a heart attack by 600%. By following the doctor's advice, it increases your risk of death from a heart attack by 600%. If you defy your doctor and take double and triple the dose of salt that they're recommending, you actually live 25 years longer and don't die of a heart attack. Isn't that amazing? Okay, that's a government study. Okay, next. Again, for those of you who weren't here last night, this is a big study published in February of 1999 in Scientific American. Scientific American sent a group of genetic and DNA scholars to Nigeria. They went out into the forest of Nigeria, and their task was to find one black tribesman who had normal genes for blood pressure. They were going to take his blood and genetically engineer him and make a vaccine to come back to America and inject every black man with his vaccine to get everybody's blood pressure down to normal. When they got to Nigeria, they were shocked to find out that only 7% of the people in Nigeria had high blood pressure, 93% were normal. They were just shocked. Because in Chicago, the number or the percentage of people who had high blood pressure who had a genetic relationship to Nigeria from the old slave days, 33% had high blood pressure in Chicago, but only 7% in Nigeria. And that tells you immediately that it's not genetic, because your position on earth doesn't determine how a genetic disease will manifest itself. So if it was genetic, it'd be 7% in Nigeria and 7% in America. Or if it was genetic, it'd be 33% in Chicago and 33% in Nigeria. But the fact that this big disparity tells you immediately it's not genetic. So what was the difference? Why these people in Nigeria were protected? Well, because they actually were primitive. They had no electricity, and so they still used wood for fuel to heat their homes and cook their food. They would take the wood ashes and use that as a fertilizer, and wood ashes is a misnomer, because the stuff that's left when you burn wood for fuel is not really ashes. It's the minerals that the tree had picked up out of the ground. You burn the carbon, and these minerals are put into the gardens. The okra and the sweet potatoes and the onions and the tomatoes and corn take up these minerals. You eat those foods, you get the minerals in that fashion. Well, how many of you, raise your hand, how many of you live entirely out of a garden and never go to a grocery store anymore? Well, looky there. Okay, well, that's a big problem, as you'll see in a moment. Okay, next slide, please. Well, over the next 6 years, the scientists from Oxford University in England and London, England, these were people who were genetics experts. They poured through all that information and data, and in 2005, they published in the British Medical Journal, which is the equivalent of the Journal of the American Medical Association here, which is a very respectable medical journal, JAMA. They said in the British Medical Journal in January of 2005 that high blood pressure is not genetic. High blood pressure is not genetic. And so I want everybody on the count of 3 to yell hallelujah. 1, 2, 3, hallelujah! It's not genetic! Which means you can control it. You don't need permission from anybody. You can control it just by supplementing with the Mighty 90. And that's it. You learn how to take your own blood pressure, and it slowly goes away over a period of a month or two. I've had people who are on blood pressure medication for 40, 45 years, and in 2 weeks' time, they don't have high blood pressure anymore. They go back to a normal life. Men get sexier. They don't have the, low T and ED and all them initial things. Okay, next. Another thing for the ladies, it's really fun to lower your blood sugar. Now, this won't fix the problem because it's not a mineral, but dark chocolate is now thought to be the third category of vitamins. Everybody knows about water-soluble vitamins, the B vitamins and C, and the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Now, there's a third category of vitamins. This was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, August 27, 2003. And it says that dark chocolate is, in fact, the third category of vitamins because of the polyphenols and PEAs, the phenylethylamines, and the flavonols in there will lower blood pressure. And there's no negative side effect, and so you can just have a lot of fun. See, I'm going to help you lower your blood pressure on Valentine's Day. Here, have some dark chocolate, right? A lot of fun. Okay, next. Oh, yeah, we have one. It's a liquid called Cocogevity, and we have little pieces that are called Triple Treat. Triple Treat. We'll talk about Triple Treat in Cocogevity later. We can go to the next one. Okay. So you know how to prevent and reverse high blood pressure. You just take the Mighty 90. If you have celiac disease, you have to give up wheat, but if you don't have barley, rye, and oats, but if you don't have celiac disease, you just take the Mighty 90. You learn how to take your own blood pressure. If you can't afford the instrument to do it yourself, you just go to a pharmacy, you just sit in that chair and you get your free blood pressure. You can do it twice a day if you want, right? Okay, now we want to talk about cholesterol. Whether you believe it or not, raise your hand if you've ever heard that cholesterol, elevated blood cholesterol, and elevated blood triglycerides have something to do with stroke and clogged arteries and heart attacks and stuff like that. Sure, if you don't raise your hand, you're lying because everybody's heard that, right? Or you're asleep already. Okay. Well, there's not a single disease that is caused by elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides. There's not a single disease that is caused by elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides. There's not a single disease that's caused by elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides. The medical community has known that since 1971. But there's not a single law at any level, at the federal or the state or the county or the city level, that forces a doctor to cure you when there's a cure available. In our heart of hearts, we'd like to believe that they're altruistic and they want to help you, right? But there's not a single law requiring them to cure you when there's a cure available. So you make up your own mind. Well, if it's not elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides that cause stroke and heart disease and clogged arteries, well, first of all, what does having elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides mean? Well, it usually means that you have diabetes or prediabetes or low thyroid, or you have a deficiency of niacin, which is vitamin B3. You can have deficiencies or ratio problems between omega-3s and omega-6s, fish oils kind of things, or flaxseed oils. And you could have deficiencies of chromium and vanadium, two trace minerals that are involved in maintaining normal blood sugar and normal blood fats. You have deficiencies of all those things will cause elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides, but elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides do not cause any disease. So if that's true, what causes stroke and clogged arteries and heart attacks? So we can go to the next one. There it is. It's the hidden killer. All right, hold your hats now. Hold on to the seats because here it comes. Next slide. Bam! There it is. Oreo cookies. Because about 70 years ago, the original Oreo cookie, that little white icing in between the chocolate wafers was real butter and heavy whipping cream, but it would melt at room temperature and it would make the paper bags they were sold in on retail shelves oily. So the chemists at Oreo cookies came up with what's called trans fatty acids, which they synthetically made, and they won't melt even at 380 degrees, let alone room temperature, right? But for looks and for shelf life, it was the most wonderful thing that ever happened. But it had one itsy bitsy tiny little unintended consequence. It plugs your arteries and causes stroke and heart attack. Now, you've all heard the inflammation theory now of disease, right? That's kind of the talk around, the inflammation theory of disease. Well, it's that trans fatty acid that causes inflammation and stroke and plugged arteries because it irritates the lining of your arteries. Same thing with processed meats, deli slices, sausage, ham, bacon, bologna, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, jerky, corned beef, Spam, hot dogs, anything with nitrates and nitrites in it increases your risk of colon cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and coronary artery disease, dementias. You know, eating a corned beef sandwich on, what is it, March 15th or 17th, March 17th, St. Patty's Day is okay once a year, but having it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is going to kill you early, 25 years early. So you want to stay away from those processed meats, as well as fried foods. Fried foods cause trans fatty acids, right? There's no good fried foods when it comes to health. You have to make that decision. We talked about that last night. If you give up fried foods except once a year sometime, pick some arbitrary holiday and have fried food once a year, you might get away with it, but don't have it every day. Don't have fried eggs for breakfast and French fries for lunch and fried chicken for dinner. You're going to die 40 to 50 years early. You avoid those foods, you'll add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. Let's go to the next one, please. The first slide I showed yesterday, when it came to health, it was Time magazine cover. It said that our next generation will not live as long as us. How many of you have heard that? Raise your hand if you've heard that our next generation is not going to live as long as us. I think most people have heard that by now. And that is because of a study that was done out of the University of Missouri, my old alma mater in Columbia, Missouri. Came out 3 years ago. And they examined 300 5-year-old kids. They examined 300 5-year-old kids. They did a little ultrasound study on their carotid arteries. What they were looking for to see if there were the beginnings of clogging at age 5. And they found out that these little 5-year-olds were 65% blocked. They were 65% blocked. Because when I was a kid, we were weaned off of formula and off of breast milk onto peas and carrots and soup and things like that. Well, today we wean our kids off of formula onto things like chicken McNuggets and French fries and Oreo cookies. Don't do that anymore because those trans fatty acids are clogging their arteries. Well, the medical system's approach is to use cholesterol-lowering drugs when they're 8 years old. They're already starting a campaign to begin to use these statin drugs, Lipitor, to lower cholesterol in kids when they're 8 years old. We do not want to do that, and you'll see why in a moment. Next slide, please. Margarine is the worst type of fat for your heart. Now, who told you to give up butter and eggs and cream and lard to cook with? Who told you to give that up and go to margarine and cooking oils? The doctors, whose average lifespan, those of you who were here yesterday, the average lifespan of a primary care physician, a family doctor in America is 56. Why would you listen to a group of people on how to live a long, healthful life whose average lifespan is 56? It doesn't compute. The reason I believe in Jesus is because he always tells the truth, right? I'm going to stick with him. Okay, next. Now, I love this story. This fella here, 88 years old, and this is published in the New England Journal of Medicine, one of the most prestigious medical journals. This old dude is 88 years old. He eats 25 eggs a day. Now, why would this old dude in 1991 be eating 25 eggs a day? Well, the reason is, I mean, you have to ask yourself, I mean, maybe he ate 25 eggs a day because he didn't have any teeth and couldn't eat steaks anymore. Or maybe he owned an egg ranch and, you know, was quality checking his product. But the reality is, when you read that scientific article, the more eggs he ate, he realized he became more studly. He became more studly the more eggs he ate. Because testosterone is 95% by weight cholesterol. So, when you go on a cholesterol-restricted diet and you go from cream and butter and eggs and lard to margarine and cooking oils, and you take drugs to lower your cholesterol, there's nobody home. So ladies, if you want your man to be studly, 6 to 10 eggs a day. Now, they cannot be fried. They can be soft poached, they can be soft boiled, they can be soft scrambled in butter, not margarine or oils. And I can tell you from personal experience, I'm 71 years old and 10 eggs a day works. Hooah! See, now the ladies, gentlemen, the ladies understand what I'm talking about. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, well, low-fat diets are just going away because when they compare the amount of heart attacks and cancer and other diseases that have been associated with high-fat diets, there's no difference between a low-fat diet and a high-fat diet when it comes to heart disease and cancer and so on. Okay, next, please. Now, so how do you prevent getting clogged arteries eating 10 eggs a day? Well, you just take the Mighty 90 and don't eat fried foods and don't eat processed meats with nitrates and nitrites. And if you already have clogged arteries, you add a little program to it, to the Mighty 90. There's a little sidebar here, which we'll talk about in a minute. We just call them the daily tablets. We'll just call them the daily tablets. Okay, you take those along with the Mighty 90 and Katie bar the door. Okay, everything opens up. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is dementias. How many of you ever heard of Alzheimer's disease? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Now, Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease. It's not genetic. Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease that is not genetic. Now, you're not the mom of a doctor, are you? Okay. Now, listen, my wife is a surgeon. I love doctors. I love doctors, and they do have their place. But in this case, doctors have caused this disease. 40 years ago, Alzheimer's disease didn't exist even by another name. Alzheimer's disease did not exist 40 years ago even by another name. Today, it's the number 4 killer of adults over the age of 65. So just a short period of time has become a huge, huge problem for industrialized countries. 85% of all Alzheimer's disease is diagnosed in the world. I'm going to repeat that. 85% of all Alzheimer's disease diagnosed in the world is diagnosed in America. It's an American disease created by American doctors. Because 75% of your brain weight is a fatty insulation material called myelin. How many of you have heard of myelin? Okay, good. Myelin makes up 75% of your brain weight. It's the white matter of the brain, the gray matter, the thinking cells and the memory cells sitting on top of the white matter, which is this white fatty insulation material, makes up 75% of your brain weight. And when the myelin goes away, you get Alzheimer's disease because the naked nerve fibers all shard out and they look for nerve tangles with CAT scans, and that's how they diagnose Alzheimer's disease. Well, Alzheimer's disease is caused by this myelin going away. Myelin makes up 75% of your brain weight, and myelin is 100% cholesterol. So if you're on a cholesterol-restricted diet, you're taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, guess what you're going to get? Alzheimer's disease. So you have to dump the cholesterol-lowering drugs. You have to start eating 10 eggs a day, no fried foods, no margarines, no cooking oils, and take the Mighty 90. You take the Mighty 90, and the odds of you getting Alzheimer's disease is zero. Zero. I want you to think about your grandparents. Think of all the eggs and all the cooking they did in lard and everything. They didn't have Alzheimer's disease. They died at 92, 110, stuff like that. Okay, next. This is the U.S. News World Report, February of this year, 2010, and they're talking about the 80 million baby boomers coming along, living to be 100. In that upper right-hand corner there, it's a summary of one of the chapters. It says 7 habits that you can do to lower your risk of Alzheimer's disease. That tells you right there that Alzheimer's disease is not genetic, because there's no habit you can do that's going to reduce the risk of a genetic disease. See, they know it. 7 habits that you can do that's going to reduce your risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. Don't eat fried foods. Don't eat processed meats with nitrates and nitrites. Take the Mighty 90, and you won't get it. Next. That's just some of that myelin, shows all that fatty stuff around those nerve fibers. Next. There's a tidal wave coming of Alzheimer's disease because there's 80 million baby boomers coming along who did whatever the doctors told them. I want to live to be 100. I'm a baby boomer. We want to be the first generation where everybody lives to be 100. Will you lower your cholesterol and you'll live to be 100? Give me, give me, give me. I want the newest cholesterol lowering drug. Give me an overdose of that one, doc. Well, the unintended consequence is low T, ED, and if you could remember, Alzheimer's disease. Next. Costs $12,000 a month to maintain an Alzheimer's patient. And you're going to pay for it. You are literally going to pay for it out of your Social Security checks when you get there. Next. And let's see. Oh yeah, Alzheimer's is in an unrelenting upward trajectory, and again they're picking on the baby boomers because they're the ones taking all the cholesterol lowering drugs and eating the cholesterol restricted diet. Next. Ultra-fat diet is actually therapeutic. I've been doing this for things like MS, multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's disease, dementias, including Alzheimer's disease. Totally preventable. You know, people like Muhammad Ali. We could actually solve his problem, but you can't get to him because he's got all these layers of agents and representatives and stuff, so you can't get to him to help him, right? But at any rate, I talk about 65% of the calories in your diet having to come from good fats. Eggs, red meat, not processed meat, but, you know, good steak every day, a pound of hamburger a day keeps the doctor away, kind of thing. And they said, okay, we're going to show Wallach wrong. What they found out was they could get rid of all those diseases by giving you 90% of your calories coming from fat. 90% of your calories, and that's from the medical school at New York City. Next. Now, this came out in 1992. It said that just vitamin E alone could actually help people with advanced Alzheimer's disease. Vitamin E alone can actually help people with Alzheimer's disease. Just 1 out of the 90. And nobody wanted to believe that. This study was done by the University of California, San Diego, and the Salk Institute that made the Salk vaccine. I mean, we're talking about respectable institutions here. There was a big firestorm over that because when I read that title in 1993, I said, and that means it cannot be genetic. And there was actually a firestorm set off in the media by that presentation I gave. And so these universities and the Salk Institute redid it. Next slide, please. 5 years later, the headline was bigger. Vitamin E might slow Alzheimer's disease. And you can, same agency say, oh, it's getting bigger here. Now the next one, and I'll have to tell you what this says, Johns Hopkins University, where that terrible event happened today, right? Johns Hopkins University up in Baltimore, Maryland, they did a study in Cache County, Utah, and they picked Cache County, Utah because these were all Mormon farmers. These guys all ate the same diet. They're all very faithful to the religious dietary laws, and they lived 10 years longer than the average American. They lived to be 85 instead of 75. They gave half of them, of 5,000 of these people for a 10-year period, just vitamin C and vitamin E. They got crazy over the nutrients, so they gave 2 instead of 1. Instead of 90, they gave 2, vitamin C and E. And the other half, they gave a sugar pill. Nobody knew who got the sugar pill and who got the vitamins. Well, at the end of the 10 years, the ones who got the vitamin C and the vitamin E were 78% less likely to get Alzheimer's disease than the ones that just got the sugar. You reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease by 80% by just taking 2 of the mighty 90, vitamin C and vitamin E. What if you take all 90 and avoid the fried foods and eat your 10 eggs a day? The odds of you getting Alzheimer's disease is 0. And please, please, please don't say, that sounds kind of interesting. I'm going to ask my doctor. You mean the person who's going to live to be 56? Ooh, ouch. Okay, next. Look at that. Just eating good fish like salmon twice a week will reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease because you're going to get 2 of the 90 essential nutrients. The omega-3s and omega-6s, right, in the right ratios. Next. Big study in New York. Gosh, just eating a healthy diet reduces your risk of Alzheimer's disease. Does that sound like a genetic disease to you? No, cannot be. It's impossible to be genetic with articles like that. Study on 2,000 people from New York. Next. Okay. And so we already know how to avoid Alzheimer's disease. There's actually 4 dementias. There's senile dementia, which is now called vascular dementia because there's nothing wrong with the brain. The arteries are clogged. And then there is Korsakoff syndrome, which I can cure that in 2 weeks. I don't care because it looks like Alzheimer's disease, but it's actually a symptom of a thiamine, vitamin B1 deficiency. People eating lots of sugar and no thiamine. And it looks like Alzheimer's disease, but you just get rid of the sugar and you give them the Mighty 90 and it goes away in 2 weeks. It's a miracle. Then there's Wernicke-Korsakoff's disease, where it's actually MS, multiple sclerosis, and Korsakoff syndrome. That's easy to take care of. And then, of course, there's Alzheimer's disease. So I like to nutritionally treat them and prevent them by giving everything that would cover all 4. Don't try and cherry pick one. Well, I'm going to prevent Alzheimer's disease. You get the other 3, right? So you don't cherry pick it. Okay, next. Well, let's see. Oh, CT scan. Oh, we're going to cancer. I apologize. You got to back up. I apologize. There we go. Cancer, big thing, cancer, right? That's pretty scary. But you can prevent cancer 100% by, again, avoiding the bad things. Prevention is always easier. It's kind of like putting oil in your car before the engine burns up. You put oil in your car before the engine burns up. You don't wait until the engine burns up and say, well, let's put a little oil in there. Don't get all crazy about trying to get healed when you can prevent it. It's real simple, okay? Much cheaper, much less painful, and you'll add 25 healthy years to your life. Okay, next. CAT scans, which doctors will tell you are harmless, actually have 400% more radiation than they used to think you had. 29,000 new cancer patients every year, of which half, 14,500, die after just one CAT scan. You know, you can get an ultrasound, a high-definition ultrasound for $50. Tell you the same information. They can see the valves in the pea-sized heart of a little embryo, human embryo that's just a month old. That high-definition ultrasound, there's no radiation to it, no risk. Costs $50. That CAT scan costs $4,000. Next. High-fiber diets do not cut colon cancer risk. That's another old myth. High-fiber diets do not cut colon cancer risk. This was a study on 90,000 nurses and 50,000 male doctors over a 20-year period, the Harvard Nurses Health Study. There was no problem. I mean, just high-fiber diets didn't help. Got the same rate of cancer from high-fiber diets to low-fiber diets. But when you ate a high-fiber diet, because of the risk of celiac disease, because fiber is usually wheat gluten or oat bran or something like that, it increases your risk of diabetes and heart disease and stroke and other stuff. Don't eat high-fiber diets. There is no benefit. In fact, there's unintended consequences that are not nice. Okay, next. Look at that. Fat doesn't increase your risk of breast cancer. You can actually eat 90% of your calories from fat as long as you don't fry it. Next. This was another study, only 15 years, I think a study of 15 years, Harvard Nurses Health Study, 90,000 nurses. You take a high-end multivitamin like our Mighty 90, not a one-a-day Centrum or something like that. It won't work because it only has like 32. It's the Mighty 32 instead of the Mighty 90. You take the Mighty 90, this reduces your risk of colon cancer by 75%. Are there any drugs that will do that? No. Next. Let's see here. Study finds very well done meat linked to breast cancer. You can reduce your risk of breast cancer, ladies, by 462% by eating your meat cooked medium or medium rare. If you cook your meat very well done, where it's burnt, where the fat is burnt, tastes good, but it's a killer. And the devil comes in many guises, including burnt fat. I mean, think about it. You know, hell, fire, and burnt. I mean, that's the devil's sense of humor there. Okay, next. We've known about selenium being able to prevent and cure certain types of cancer since 1912. Since 1912, we've known this, and I had to sue the FDA. I sued the FDA and won in federal court. They appealed, and I beat them in the appellate court, and then they appealed, and they signed off on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court
for me to be able to say that the trace mineral selenium can prevent certain types of cancer. The trace mineral selenium can help your body make certain anti-cancer substances. Just to say those simple things, I had to sue them 3 times in federal courts. But the truth won out there in that case. We were able to beat the FDA to death on that one. Thank you. Okay, next. This is just another thing on selenium. It was a big study out of the University of Arizona. Just taking 200 micrograms of selenium, 1/5 of a milligram of selenium. It'll reduce your risk of prostate cancer in men by 69%, colorectal cancer in both genders by 64%, and lung cancer, whether you smoke or not, by 39%. Anybody who smokes and doesn't take the Mighty 90 with a little extra selenium is foolish, aren't they? Now, I can guarantee you, ladies, if you take the Mighty 90, you will never get prostate cancer. I can guarantee you that. Okay, next. Next. Oh, I love this one. Arsenic can prevent and cure certain types of leukemia. Arsenic. We've known it's an essential nutrient necessary to prevent certain types of cancer, certain types of leukemia since 1947. Isn't that funny? Okay, next. Okay. Preventing cancer is very easy. Once you get it, it's a full-time job to treat it as a chronic disease, and you can add 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years to your life when you have cancer, but you're going to be working 24/7 for the rest of your life. It's much better to prevent it. That way you have a life, right? It's much better to prevent it, but we can work with you if you do have it. You're salvageable through God's grace. Okay, next. Oh, got a backup one, I'm sorry. Okay, diabetes. 1/3 of Americans have diabetes. It's higher in the black community and the Hispanic community. It's the least in the Asian community, okay? Diabetes is a simple mineral deficiency disease. It's not genetic. Type 2 diabetes makes up 98% of the diabetic population in America. It's a simple mineral deficiency disease. We've known this since 1957. We've known this since 1957. There's a simple mineral deficiency disease. And I take the Mighty 90 and I take what we call the sweeties, which is the trace minerals necessary to support and promote, I can legally say, support and promote healthy carbohydrate and sugar metabolism at the cellular level, support and promote healthy blood sugar levels. We've already established that micromanaging blood pressure doesn't save you from being killed by high blood pressure, and micromanaging your blood sugar doesn't save you from being killed by diabetes, because high blood sugar is just a symptom of diabetes. It's not diabetes. You have to fix the cell walls. Okay? Next. Next. Okay. That little red thing on the right side is supposed to represent what's called a receptor site on the cell wall. Every cell in your body, the trillions and trillions of cells you have in your body, all have receptor sites that are sensitive to insulin. Now, if you don't have these trace minerals, those receptor sites are not sensitive to insulin. Most people who are type 2 diabetics have as much as 10 times more insulin than a normal person. It's not that they lack insulin, so why are they giving them more insulin? They're trying to override that system. Oftentimes, doctors will tell you have insulin-resistant diabetes because they are being honest with you. Because they're telling you, you got plenty of insulin, you're just resistant to it. So the nice thing about this, you take the Mighty 90, you take the Sweeties, which has all these trace minerals, and what happens is you'll resensitize those receptor sites. You got to watch it, though, because your blood sugar will drop. Right? And so you have to take your blood sugar every morning, as you've been empowered to do by your doctor. And you've also been empowered to adjust your medication. You do it, you cheat all the time. I'll just have that piece of pecan pie, a little bit of ice cream on it. I just take more of my medicine, and you learn. But the A1C hemoglobin gives you away. You go to the doctor, oh yeah, my blood sugar is 90 this morning, but your A1C is 14 instead of 5.2. You've been naughty. And so you got to watch it. So you take your blood sugar every morning. And as your blood sugar begins to drop, and it will very rapidly, sometimes in 24 hours. I've seen it drop 90 points in 24 hours. You can't take the same amount of insulin. You got to be faithful. Take your blood sugar, adjust your medication as you've been empowered to do. And when you wean off of your medication, you can go back to a normal life. But you have to stay on the Mighty 90, and you have to stay on the extra Sweeties. It just goes away. Well, kind of a fun way to add 25 healthful years to your life. Next. That's what the sugar metabolism looks like once the sugar gets inside your cell. Now, none of that happens if you don't have these trace minerals to sensitize that receptor site. Next. This is what doctors do for diabetes. Avandia killed 100,000 people last year, but it's been approved by the FDA. So you have your choice, the Mighty 90 and Sweeties or Avandia. Now your doctor will be just overjoyed to prescribe Avandia to you, but you start talking to him about the Mighty 90 and the Sweeties, and say, oh, that Wallach, you know, he's one of them quack, 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 duck kind of people. Okay, next. Lifestyle approach for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Next. Okay, next, you've read that. Oh, this is a big study on 44,000 black women. Drinking juice causes more diabetes than drinking soda pop. Drinking soda pop increases your risk by 27% of diabetes. Drinking juice brings it up by 31%. Now that doesn't cause it, but these women were all deficient in these trace minerals. And taking in the sugar just sped up the process, made it happen quicker. Next. Okay, so you know what to do for diabetes. You stay away from you got to stay away from all the bad stuff, right? No fried foods, no processed meats. You got to stay away from sugar. You got to take in the Mighty 90 plus the Sweeties. Do your due diligence, take your blood sugar every morning, adjust your medication appropriately as you've been empowered to do, and shazam, thank you, Lord, it's gone. Here's a good time. Let's say on 3, thank you, Lord. On 3, 1, 2, 3, thank you, Lord! Oh, I love that. Oh, okay. Now, arthritis is a simple mineral deficiency disease. We learned how to prevent and cure arthritis 300 years ago. We learned how to prevent and cure. But I have bone-to-bone arthritis, Dr. Wallach. I don't care if it's bone-to-bone arthritis. I don't care if you've had that for 20 years and you're in such pain now, no medication works to help the pain. Doctors have talked you into double knee replacement and you're scheduled tomorrow. You call them up and say, I'm going to delay it until after January because I'm going to try this Doc Wallach Mighty 90 stuff. Give it 90 days and see what happens, even if you have bone-to-bone arthritis. Even if they have surgically removed your meniscus, we can rebuild it. Praise God. We do it for athletes all the time. We do it for people in the military all the time. We do it to regular people like you and me thousands of times a month. Thousands of times a month. Next. There's going to be an epidemic of arthritis in America here. Why is that? Because there's 80 million baby boomers coming along and they have 72 joints, 10 toes, 2 ankles, 2 knees, 2 hips, 33 vertebrae, 2 shoulders, 2 elbows, 2 wrists, and 10 fingers. And every orthopedic surgeon is running up and down the aisles of churches saying, hallelujah, thank you, Lord. There's 80 million baby boomers come along, they have 72 joints, and I'm going to replace them all. But all you have to do is take the Mighty 90 and stay away from the bad stuff. You'll never get arthritis. I'm 71 years old. Okay? And if this was a harder surface, I could stand here on 1 foot because I got a lot of padding up here. But I could stand on 1 foot for 3 hours and give the lecture. You'll see in a minute. You'll see why. Okay, next. Bell's palsy still baffles doctors. For 200 years they've been doing research trying to figure it out. We've known for 300 years what causes. It's just a manifestation of osteoporosis of your skull bone, squeezing the 7th cranial nerve. You treat it nutritionally as osteoporosis, it goes away. Just that simple. Next. Let's see. Okay, who told you to give up sunlight? Who told you not to take vitamins and minerals? You could get everything from your food. See, a vitamin D3 deficiency, which every doctor is now is taking blood tests to see what your vitamin D3 level is, that's another physician-caused disease. Nobody in a third world country has vitamin D3 deficiency. It's an American disease caused by dermatologists. Okay, next. Even non-cola drinks like 7-Up and stuff like that, Dr. Pepper, those kind of things, Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, you don't want to be drinking carbonated drinks during meals because they will actually neutralize your stomach acid so you cannot absorb minerals or digest proteins or absorb B12. Next. That's medical. See, the medical industry, their answer to arthritis is pain relief and surgically changing your knees out and your hips and your elbows and shoulders and fingers, right? Why not regrow your own? Does God have arthritis? No. Did Jesus have, he was a carpenter. Did he have arthritis? No. And you and I are built in the image of God because the Bible tells us so, right? So if God didn't have arthritis and cancer and heart disease and diabetes and hemorrhoids, why should we? Okay, hallelujah. Okay, next. Okay, oh. That Vioxx, that painkiller, it was the best painkiller ever invented, but it had a little side effect. It killed 85,000 people. Okay, next. Fosamax and Boniva, shame on you, Sally Field, it actually causes fractures. Next. Okay, let's see here. Look at that. No, knee surgery for arthritis is useless, worthless. That's from Harvard Medical School, published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Next. Well, this guy was the president of McDonald's Corporation. Had for 7 years in a row had double arthroscopic surgeries every year so he could play golf. In the 7th year, he actually had a double knee replacement because he got weary of those procedures. He was in such pain he had to take OxyContin, couldn't do his job properly, and they fired him. The board fired him from a $100 million a year job because he had a double knee replacement. And of course, every time he tries to call the orthopedic surgeon who did that to him, the surgeon looks at it and says, "Oh, that's Ralph. We're not going to answer his phone." Okay, next. Okay, back surgery is unnecessary. We can support and promote healthy maintenance and repair, which means we can regrow your disc. Why would you have surgery when you can regrow your own disc with a little bit of supplements? Well, my doctor said, you mean the one who lives to be 56? Next. Men and women get osteoporosis, not a postmenopausal woman's disease. Next. This is just 2010. Okay, men and women both get osteoporosis. Next. You know how Cleopatra got her calcium? It was kind of a peasant's thing to get it from limestone and oyster shells. So she put pearls in vinegar and drank that vinegar pearl mix every day. $5,000 a day for calcium supplements. We get ours is a lot cheaper. Okay, next. Those top two are the ones, the middle two. The middle two, the Healthy Starter Pack and the Liquid Classic. We'll talk about that next. We want to think of the Mighty 90, and then every time you have a disease, you want to take something special for that disease. That's why we have the flower concept. Next. Next. Okay, that's me. That's my bone density test. You can see me up there at 5.5. I'm up there with 18-year-old male athletes, and I'm 71 years old, and that's because I've been doing the Mighty 90 since I was 9. Been doing the Mighty 90 for 62 years. Thank you. Thank you. My blood pressure is 121/71. I've never been on a prescription medication. My resting pulse is 43. My resting pulse is 43. Now, if I were to go to a cardiologist, he'd want to give me a pacemaker. He'd want to put me on medication. He'd want to give me a heart transplant. But I'll bet I can outlast him in a fight, okay? I just have to dodge him for 56 years. Okay, next. Okay, I'm just going to briefly say a couple of things about obesity here, and then we're going to open this up for questions for a few moments. Obesity is a disease of deficiency. It's not a disease of excess. Obesity is not a disease of excess. Obesity is not a disease of excess. That's why nobody's been able to solve the problem. Because everybody views it as a disease of excess. It's a deficiency disease. The symptom of the deficiency disease, these special minerals, the minerals deficiencies cause a special symptom called the munchies. And so instead of giving you these minerals, medical doctors invented the snack food industry. That's the treatment for the munchies, is snack foods. Next. So, Hell's Kitchen is the book for diabetes, for obesity, for the metabolic syndrome. We got plenty of those out there. Hell's Kitchen, you know, we call it Hell's Kitchen because a kitchen in your home can be a place of heaven or a place of hell, depending on how you cook. I mean, you can kill somebody, you can purposely murder them. All you got to do is give them everything to eat fried foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll walk. Okay, next. The paleo diet, which is just essentially meat and vegetables, no grains. Well, wait a minute. Doctors say that whole grains are good. You mean the ones that live to be 56? Okay, go on. Next. Oh, that tells a story. Next. 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 Oh, yeah, look at that. Next. Look at that. Next. 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 Okay. Patrick Dool weighed 1,072 pounds. They gave him a stomach bypass. They put him on a calorie-restricted diet, and he lost 462 pounds over a 2-year period. And this is him leaving the hospital to go home. When he got home, he died. Bam! He just drops dead. Because when you're obese, fat is not the disease. Fat is just a symptom of the disease. Just like when you have diabetes, high blood sugar is a symptom of the disease. When you have high blood pressure is just a symptom of the disease. Being overweight and obese is just a symptom of the disease, which is a mineral deficiency. The mineral deficiency will still kill you. You all know somebody who's lost 50 pounds, 100. Well, Francine did such a good job. She lost all that weight, and then she went and died. Next. This gal here, she had 2 Guinness World Book of Records. Rosalie Bradford, she had 2 Guinness World Book of Records, very famous lady. Number one, her first Guinness World Book of Records, she was the heaviest woman ever weighed. She weighed 1,200 pounds officially by Guinness World Book of Records. You went on 2 dates with Rosalie, you had 1.25 tons of fun. And then her second Guinness World Book of Records, she officially lost 736 pounds. And then she died because the doctors failed to understand that the weight was not the problem, it was just the symptom of the disease. Okay, are you getting it now? Okay. The Mighty 90 will prevent you from being overweight. If you're overweight, you take the Mighty 90 and then you throw in what we call the Slender FX weight management program to it. And the weight just goes away healthily. You stay on those things, you never gain the weight back. You'll add 25 to 50 healthy years of your life. It's that simple. Okay, next. Next. Oh, back up one. 44% of our kids under the age of 15 of all races look like that today. That's because they are minerally deficient. It has nothing to do with too many video games or too much television or too much texting and all that kind of stuff. It's a mineral deficiency disease. Next. See, everybody wants to think this is the cause of obesity. This is the symptom of the cause of obesity. It's not the cause of obesity, it's the symptom of the cause of obesity. Next. This young fellow here from South Carolina is 14 years old, weighed 555 pounds. They put the mother in jail, and they took him away from the mother. They should have put the pediatrician in jail because she went to him every year saying, my kid's 200 pounds overweight, my kid's 300 pounds overweight. She kept going to the pediatrician. He said, make him exercise. They should have put the pediatrician in jail, not the mother. Okay, next. Loyola University in Chicago came out in August of 2009 and said, exercise won't help you lose weight. In fact, it makes you hungrier because when you sweat from exercising, you're not losing just water, but a soup that contains all these minerals. And when you lose all these minerals, you just get hungrier. Okay. So now you take that money, but you have to take it appropriate for body weight. Somebody who weighs 100 pounds will take 1/3 the amount of somebody who takes 300 pounds because it goes 1 dose per 100 pounds of body weight. Okay, it is by body weight. You always come to me and say, well, I've been taking it for 14 months and nothing's happening. Okay, we weigh 200 pounds. How much you take? Well, I take a thimbleful faithfully every day. Okay, well, that won't work, okay. Okay, now I've covered a lot of territory. I have a few minutes left here. We don't want to run into your time, so I'm going to take a couple of questions.
Okay, I think I found the unmute. Who learned something? And tell me who knew something and followed Dr. Wallach And what he's saying in this program is absolutely right. Me, on many cases, metabolic syndrome, overweight. I mean, I started taking the 90 essential nutrients in the first 2 months. I lost 3 months, I lost 20 pounds. And I wasn't trying to do anything else. So there's a lot of truth to what Dr. Wallach is saying, and what he said 10 years ago in this program at the World Changers Church. This is health conference at World Changers Church. You can actually find the 2D CD. Yeah, the 2 DVD set rather. At drjwallach.com, and I will get with Jonty and see if we can get it actually on our website, because this program is sponsored by AskDocLive.com. And we are going to be taking a break. So everybody get up and stretch. And the question that came in, which year was this conference done? This was in 2012. Is when this conference was done. So we will be right back after about 5 minutes of getting up and stretch. Make sure that you have your hydration. If you have plant-derived minerals, put a splash of plant-derived minerals in there. If you have Rebound, take a couple sips on that Rebound, because that's going to give you the minerals that your body is starving for. We will be right back. All right. I hope everybody got up and stretched. We've been sitting a long time, and we've got about 45 more minutes in our program. We are going to be getting to the mini hands that are up. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on Ask Doc Live. And my name is Rebecca Dukes Kozak, and I am the host of this program. And I am joined with my co-hosts, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, Heather Bowen, Jonty McCollier, Nasima Omar, and Dr. Judy Reynolds. But you know who's super important right now? And that's the person that shared this program with you. So Dr. Wallach in this first hour shared information that 10 years ago is still relevant, if not more so today. And as we go through the rest of this program, if we have time, we're going to be looking at some of the statistics from 2012 and how they compare to 2022. And I'm blown away, folks, with the increase in what it costs to stay healthy through a medical system. You would think that health would be getting better. As we look at those statistics, just a little heads up, it's not getting better. So it is going to take us taking our health into our own hands and reclaiming it on our own, using the 90 essential nutrients and what has been found to be the underlying cause of disease, and that is nutritional deficiencies. So as soon as we have Dr. Wallach back here with us, we are going to be getting to these questions. I know he's here. Okay.
How's that one?
Hey, I can hear you now. And now we should be able to see you here shortly. Do you see the little, there we go.
Are we on now?
We are on, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's go ahead and get to some questions. But before we do that, Dr. Wallach, let me get you on spotlight here. Anything that you want to point out from that? I mean, you were just on fire. And everybody, I don't know about you, but there are some things about Dr. Wallach, and his humor is one of them, that it's going to make anybody laugh. So I just want to thank you, Dr. Wallach, for your humor.
Okay, well,
Some
thank
things are
you.
funny, some things are really sad,
Mhm.
but all you can do is laugh because the other option is cry.
Okay, now there's only one thing that I want to add to our previous moments. I don't think I emphasized enough getting rid of the gluten. I don't think that was a big emphasis. There should have been more emphasis on getting rid of the gluten, wheat, butter, rye, and oats to maximize absorption. Because if you take your 90 and you're eating gluten, you might not be able to absorb any of it. So it's imperative to eat like an Asian, eat rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables, tomatoes and carrots and squash and things like cucumbers and onions and beets. Stay away from wheat, butter, rye, and oats. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. Well, my grandmother, they ate oatmeal for breakfast and they died at 92 or 100. Yeah, but they had wood stoves that were putting the wood ashes into the gardens and wood ashes into their food, and they were getting minerals that way. Okay, and so you're not doing that. And so you need to be taking care to avoid gluten. Eat like an Asian, you'll absorb more of the nutrients you're going to take, and you'll see results quicker and more completely.
I agree. And folks, that's like eat like an Asian, not the American way of eating like an Asian. So I just want to clarify that because I love Asian food, Dr. Wallach. But what I see in authentic Asian cookbooks compared to what's in the American restaurants, it's totally different.
Absolutely. And
All
so
right.
we have some work to do, but the benefits are enormous. The benefits are enormous. You go from a life expectancy of 75 to 100. And, the good Lord said, and man's years shall be 120.
120.
And so if we're accepting 75 as okay, we're consciously giving up 25 years, no, 50 years that the good Lord gave us. So we have to really pay attention here.
I agree. Well, Dr. Wallach, let's pay attention as we are getting to some questions that are coming in. And our
Okay.
first question is Anthony. Anthony, go ahead and unmute yourself. Looks like you are driving and you've been hanging in there with us.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Welcome. Yes.
All righty. Hey, I'm a longevity distributor. All righty, but I just wanted to let Dr. Wallach knew what happened to me this past Sunday. I'm driving and I'm talking on the phone and a bug flew into my mouth. And I started coughing, trying to get it out. Well, moments after that, I got a sore throat. So I thought, I know what's going down. So I started taking I-26 colostrum, taking more of the products. And but I did get night chills and I had a little vomiting, and but I still continue to work. So I wanted to let Dr. Wallach know and see, I've never encountered that before, and I wanted to find out if my action that I took was a good action for what happened to me.
Okay. Well, a bug is a foreign body and can be a mechanical issue as well as maybe some bugs that were inside the bug. It's possible. So if you have some of our colloidal silver, you can put a couple of droppers full under your tongue 30 minutes for each meal and 30 minutes for bedtime. And you can use some anti-inflammatory stuff on the outside, on your throat, on the outside. Okay. Like our CM cream and our Hemp FX cream and so forth. Put those things on your throat and on the outside, and you should see some results there. Okay.
I'm starting to get a little better now.
Okay, good.
I can't knock it. I'm 60 years old and I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. One more thing, Doc. What about activated charcoal? Would that have helped a little bit also?
I missed that.
No, I said activated charcoal. Would that have helped? But I didn't have any.
Well, I have no idea because I really don't know other than a mechanical irritation. Activated charcoal is not going to help.
I see.
Mechanical irritation. You need something to reduce inflammation and swelling.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet.
All right,
All right.
Anthony, thank you.
All right.
Drive safe.
Will do. Thank you.
Stay away from bugs.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Put the window up while you're driving, buddy. All right, so let's next go to Nina, Dr. Wallach. Nina, go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you for hanging in here with us. You've had your hand up since the beginning as well.
Thanks for having me. Hi, Dr. Wallach. How are
Hi.
you?
Okay, how can we help you?
I have 2 family members who need some help, but if we can only get to one, I can give a call back. Firstly, my mom, she is 1 year without breast cancer. She, I think, has a combination of things that contributed to that. She has osteopenia and what I think to be something like an IBS, can't necessarily digest food. Every time she eats, it's a problem. She is 5'7" and 200 pounds and 60 years old.
Okay,
Just wondering what she can be doing supplement
Sure.
wise. And
well, the irritable bowel syndrome is a gluten thing. She's got to give up her oatmeal, okay? She's got to give up the wheat bran around oats, got to give up the gluten. Then I would also have her take the 90 essential nutrients according to her body weight, 200 pounds. She needs to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of everything twice a day. She needs to take the MSM, 2 bottles a month. She can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's going to help many things, including her cartilage and ligaments and tendons, but also her bone marrow, which is where she makes her antibodies and white blood cells to her defend herself.
right.
Okay. And then I would also have her take the collagen peptides to do the same thing. Scuba that in her morning drink, scuba that in her evening drink. And again, the irritable bowel syndrome wouldn't hurt to take the, and again, stay away from the gluten, but also she needs to take our ultimate enzymes.
Oh, right. She doesn't have a gallbladder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's called the gallbladder in a bottle.
Okay.
Okay, because we put bile in there, not just enzymes. There's bile added to it, so we call it the gallbladder in a bottle. Ultimate enzymes. She could, at her body weight, she could take 2 before meals, say 5 to 10 minutes for each meal, a couple ounces of water, and that's
Okay.
going to help her considerably.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Can I ask one more question?
Sure, go for it.
My friend of mine has a 4-year-old and they are pushing for him to have his adenoids out. She went to an ENT because he was like snoring. He was having night terrors. He was getting disrupted sleep a lot. And it just seems like a lot of ear infections as well.
Okay. All right. Needs to get rid of all the bad foods. Everybody in the whole family needs to stay away from gluten. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. No wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. Okay. Forever. Okay. So he can maximize absorption, stay away from inflammation. And then how much does he weigh?
He is 35 pounds and about 42 inches tall.
Okay, 35 pounds. Okay. I want him to take, let's see here. Ooh, 35 pounds. What I want him to do is get the Ultimate Daily tablets, the big yellow ones. Go ahead and mash them up between 2 spoons, put them in a teaspoon of applesauce, and he could have one of those Ultimate Daily tablets twice a day. He needs the EFAs. He can take one of those twice a day, EFAs. That's going to help him enormously. Okay, the EFAs. If he doesn't want to take those, they're soft gel caps, you can puncture them and squirt them in his drink. And his drink, I want him to have our kids' toddy.
Okay.
He could take 1 or 2 servings of that a day. Okay, it's a liquid meal replacer for kids. And you do have to add the EFAs, and it wouldn't hurt to add a teaspoon twice a day of the cherry mints. Tastes very
Okay.
good. Give them lots of minerals. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate
bet.
that.
All right, thank you, Nina. And cherry mints taste really good added to plain Greek yogurt, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Just one nice way to get in some good protein and also get in minerals. And then we have our mineral sticks now that have the tart cherry juice extract and collagen and minerals, which is really good also in full fat Greek yogurt. So, and get the unflavored because we don't want all the sugar but we want to get all the goodness and nutrition that the body's missing. And we're not missing sugar, folks. We get plenty of sugar, natural sugars from the other foods that we are eating. Now, our next question with hand up is Rebecca. Rebecca, go ahead and unmute yourself. And I saw in the comments here that you are needing to lose 100 pounds, which I've done it. I know it's possible using just the 90 essential nutrients. So Rebecca, can you unmute yourself? She's wanting to know, Dr. Wallach, what she can take to help her lose that 100 pounds. And if you could go through the protocol, then we will go ahead and get that. So let's say she's at 200 pounds right now, Dr. Wallach, or maybe 250. What would she need in order to lose 100 pounds?
Okay. Well, she needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. She needs to eat like an Asian, rice and sweet potatoes and lots of vegetables and fish and poultry and that kind of stuff. And then I want her to take one meal a day. It's a meal replacer. It's not to add to a meal. It's a meal replacer or a keto shake. It comes in strawberry or chocolate, and it will help her lose half a pound to 2 pounds a day. Okay, again, it's a meal replacer. It's not to be added to a meal. It's a meal replacer. It doesn't have to be the same meal every day. And then at 250 pounds, I want her to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of everything twice a day. That's going to give her 215 nutrients. Okay. Take a, let's see here, full dose of everything twice a day. I want her to get 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So she can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's going to support and promote maintenance repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone breaks, and bone itself, including the bone marrow, to support her immune system. And then she needs vitamin D3. Take 3 of those twice a day to help absorb the minerals, put them in the right place. I think and she can use our Rebound sports drink. Again, if she's going to use the can, she's got to pop the tops at night. So she put them in the refrigerator so that don't drink it till the morning or in the afternoon the next day. You want to have it off gas, all those carbonations. And we do have the sticks in the Rebound. We also have the powder in the Rebound. We've had that with some bananas, really nice. And then, of course, the mineral sticks, which has the 78 minerals, the collagen, peptides, and also the cherry extract. Okay.
And it's the mineral deficiencies, Dr. Wallach, right? That are
That's correct. It's a mineral deficiency that's causing the problems here. And again, that keto shake, 1 meal a day, it's a meal replacer. It's not to be added to a meal. It's a meal replacer. That keto shake, either strawberry or chocolate. And she'll lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. We do this literally thousands of times a month all over the world. We're in 80 countries. And like, you say you lost some weight using the program.
Yes, I have, and I'm loving it, and I keep going. And I'll tell you what, I had one of my distributors reached out. She had a client that had gone gluten-free and then had a couple croissants and just was not feeling well. We don't realize what that effect is of the gluten on our body, how it's making us sluggish and brain fog and just not feeling optimal. But we take it as being normal. We take it as, oh, this is just everyday life. It must be a good, a new good. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, you can have a new great when you make the recommendations that Dr. Wallach is making today and feel the difference, because there truly, truly is a difference making these modifications in the food that we're putting in our mouth. But most importantly, and I don't know if it's most importantly, it's like right there with, you're not going to have great absorption unless you make some changes of the nutrition that you're putting in your body in a form that is absorbable with the cofactors that makes it even better, and the synergistic stuff in there that helps make you feel even better. It just all works together, and it's all in a natural form that the body is able to utilize.
Wow, that was the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. Very good.
Well, it just, I don't know, life has made things so complicated. Let's not complicate this, folks. It's easy. So, and I'm, I'm living proof of it. I love it. I've lost 100 pounds. I've kept it off. For the most part, I had an injury. I gained back a little bit, but for the most part, I've been able to lose that and going strong. But let's go to the next hand that is up, Dr. Wallach, and
Okay.
Joan. Joan, go ahead and unmute yourself. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Yes, good morning, doctor.
Hi.
Doctor, my sister is 73 years old. Her height is 5'8", 158 pounds. She has a situation where when she has tried to give blood twice, she's rejected because her iron levels are too low. She has often given blood and this has never been a problem until now. What do you recommend?
Okay. Well, again, she's got to get rid of all the bad stuff so she can maximize absorption. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, no oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. And then at 158 pounds, I want her to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. That's 215 nutrients, including iron. Okay. So she needs a full dose of everything twice a day. I want her to get 2 bottles a month of the MSMs and take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. She needs 1 canister of the collagen peptides, so she can take a scoop of that with her breakfast drink, a scoop of that with her evening drink. I also, excuse me, want her to take some extra minerals. She could take them, either as in the dry form in the sticks, or she can take it as a rebound or a sports drink. Don't forget, if she's going to take the cans, she got to pop the tops at night and put them in the refrigerator and don't drink it till the next morning. 100 nutrients, including 78 minerals, including iron. And this sort of problem will go away very quickly. But this is a lifetime deal. You can't do it until you feel better and then go back to the old ways, because within 2 or 3 months, you'll be back down in the hole again. Say, well, yeah, I tried it and it didn't work. No, it works. You just got to stick with it. Okay. It's one of those things. How long do you need oxygen? Forever. How long do you need water? Forever. How long do you need the 90 essential nutrients? Forever.
Thank you, doctor. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right. Thank you, Joan. Let's move right along. Let's go to Eric's iPhone. Eric, go ahead and unmute yourself. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Yes, sir.
Eric, go ahead and say something. You are able to unmute, but I cannot hear you, my friend. Let's try one more time. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Eric, say hello.
Let's go on.
All right. Sorry about that, Eric. I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but let's go to Yvonne. And Yvonne made a great recommendation in the comments in regards to adding our OsteoFX to Greek yogurt, plain yogurt, which is yummy as well. Yvonne, welcome to Ask Doc Live.
Hey, good morning, Doc. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you too. How can we help?
I have 2 questions for you. The first one is, in prepping my pantry, we have looked for some dry meat. How is smoked meat, if there are no nitrites? We have a local farmer here who does some of his own. It is a pork. And yeah, we're just looking to kind of put some things in that pantry.
Okay, well, I wouldn't go with smoked meats because you're going to have chemical changes and all this kind of stuff. And when you heat meat, the fat in the meat turns into bad things. And so I would not go there. Okay.
Any recommendations for when I'm, kind of putting together a pantry that for long-term?
Well, this is where both canned fish and dried fish, we use the salmon and cod. And so, yeah, once you get those, Okay, they come prepackaged. And so, we stack up the cans, in the pantry, and we put these things that are in bags into the refrigerator. Okay. But you want to kind of go that direction.
All right.
If the fish and the meat won't spoil, you don't want to, you don't want to buy it.
All right. Thank you. So my next question is, I have a clinic here in Northern California,
Mhm.
and I'm a microcurrent specialist.
Okay.
And putting together trainings, my average clientele is above 65 to about 82. Many of them are on a budget that is, what do you call it, fixed income. So when I suggest the 90 as a healthy rebuild pack for their bones, they're really struggling with that price point. So I had been suggesting the calcium and the glucogel. Is there something else that I should or could be offering them? And
Yeah, because see, that's kind of like telling somebody who owns a car, just wash your car every day and don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about oil and grease and antifreeze and stuff like that. Just wash your car every week and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't do that. You're giving them sort of misinformation.
Well, I give them the information, but I'm trying to get
Okay,
some.
well, stop there. I'm going to pass this one on to Rebecca. Rebecca, you have all these classes and all these things, and you deal with people with, widely varying incomes and so forth. What would be a way to get the 90 essential nutrients into somebody who has financial restrictions?
I start with the Ultra Body Toddy, Dr. Wallach, because it's going to have the majority of the 90 essential nutrients, and including the vitamins and the minerals, not just the calcium parts of it. And it's a liquid, so it's only 1 ounce per day, which is 2 tablespoons. Another really good one is the Liquid Ultimate Classic.
Yes, yeah, and I have used that
And
little
don't
bit.
forget the EFAs, so there's no.
And the EFAs,
folks.
absolutely.
Okay.
And if I have to choose an EFA, it's going to be the EFA Plus,
Yes.
because it has a nice combination ratio of omega-6, 3, 6, and 9, not just 3. And there's essential fatty acids. So essential means our body does not make them. Well, there's 2 of them that are truly essential that our bodies need, and that's ALA and LA. And the EFA Plus has both of those forms of omegas.
Excellent.
Yeah, because thank you. It's one of those things where they're cherry picking, and they pick 1 nutrient or 2 nutrients or 3 nutrients, and they're 87 short. And there's going to be some disaster along the way. And say, well, yeah, I tried what she said and I died.
Yeah. Well, and we want to make sure that they're getting, that foundation. Yes, they're having bone issues, but it's because of the foundation and the minerals. And in the 2 that I mentioned, the Ultra Body Toddy, the ultimate, or the Ultimate Classic, or even the Ultimate Tangy Tangerine. It's small doses, easy to take, but it's a powerhouse of nutrition. And then combined with the EFA, that's minimum.
Now, when you talk about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, you're talking about the powder, not the tablets, correct?
No, I'm talking about the liquid concentrate, Dr.
Oh, the
Wallach.
liquid concentrate. Okay. Yeah, the tablets are a totally different issue. They should have given it a different name. It's not the same thing as the liquid or the powder.
Right.
And so just for clarification, the dosages in the Ultimate Classic, I have chosen that. I like it because it has the 600 milligrams of minerals. And I believe it was the 300 or 600 milligrams of calcium. Is that better for them? And of course, the price point seems to work than the, what did you say, Ultra Body Toddy, or the
So
liquid?
price wise, Ultra Body Toddy, Ultimate Classic, and the Ultimate Tangy Tangerine are all within $1 of each other.
Mhm.
So price wise,
right.
there's no comparison. What I would do as a practitioner, look at the back, look at the client themselves. What are their major needs, especially using that health evaluation system through the coaching program, and then pick the one that has the best fit for that client. Because I agree, it's not a one size fits all. And that's what I love about longevity and the products is we are able to look at the different products to find the one that's going to be a best fit for the person in front of us.
And the other thing about it is we get you guys. Thank you so much for showing up every week. It's just been wonderful. And, you know, I'm better for it, as are my patients. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Yvonne.
Rebecca.
Thank you, my dear. And I love it because we get to surround ourselves with people like you.
Thank you.
So awesome. Very good. Thank you so much. That was a great question, Yvonne. We come up with that a lot when we are working with people on a fixed income or those who are no longer working and they want the nutrition, they want to be healthy, but they're not able to afford everything that the years and years of breakdown really require for the fastest results. So giving your body even a little bit is going to get you on a road to a better health journey. It may take a little bit longer, but you're going to be feeling greater. You're going to be feeling better.
No gluten.
And no gluten. That's right. And I tell you what, Dr. Wallach, you give yourself the minerals and the vitamins that the body's starving for, you lose those munchies.
Yeah, you don't crave the gluten anymore.
You don't crave the gluten anymore. You don't crave the sweets. You don't crave all of the salty filler foods. So you remove those from your budget or from your shopping, and that opens up the budget for healthier options.
Well, there you go.
So that's what I did because I was very much on a limited income whenever we got started. I had medical bills through the yin yang and not working and a young child. It was tough, but it was worth it to take this time and invest in myself, giving myself the nutrition that I had been missing. And I didn't know because I thought I was eating good. And now I know that what's being taught in schools, what's being taught through nutritional programs that are sponsored by universities is not even close to what you teach. And I had great results from what you're teaching.
Well, thank you for sharing.
So I'm a results person, even coming from a statistician career. I want results. You can give me numbers on paper all day long, and that's great. I'll follow those numbers. But if it's not giving me the result and the outcome in the end, we've got to relook at what we're doing to create the outcome we want to achieve.
Thank you for your input.
I'm off my soapbox now. So let's try Eric one more time. Eric, can you unmute yourself? And can we hear you? I see you're unmuted, but I still cannot hear you. We're going to go to Wayne. Wayne, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. It's afternoon for you. I know that for a fact, though.
Oh,
Welcome to Ask Doc Live.
yes, thank you.
How can we help you, sir?
Doctor, I recently went to the ophthalmologist and he looked in my eyes and told me that the nerve in the back of my eye, they are large. And he says, of course, that in many instances, it could actually lead to glaucoma. He told me that he made some comparisons that I don't have glaucoma, but the size of the nerve in the back of the eye.
Did he talk about macular degeneration or macular inflammation?
No, he never mentioned that. He just mentioned the size of the nerve.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a couple of questions. I'll quickly ask you a couple of questions because we only have a few moments here. Do you have any tinnitus or ringing in the ears?
No.
Okay. Do you have any balance problems or vertigo or dizziness?
No.
Okay. How many times a night do you wake up to urinate? Once, 3 times, 5 times?
I tend to drink a lot of fluid at night, so
That's
I'm
not
not
what I'm
probably-
asking. How many times you wake up to urinate?
Okay, if I don't drink any fluid, I don't wake up. But
That's
if I
not what
do,
I'm
like
asking.
once or twice.
Okay, so once or twice is common. Correct?
Okay,
Once or twice is common?
Yes.
Okay.
yes,
Do you ever get up 5 times a night?
no,
Okay, good. All right. Let's see here. Have you ever had Bell's palsy where one side of your face droops?
no,
Okay. Do you have any terrible headaches behind your eyes and your temples and cheeks and stuff like that?
no.
Okay, good. Let's see here. Do you have, I can't tell, you have a hat on. Do you have white, gray, or silver hair?
Yeah, some hairs at the side of my temple just here.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's not due to aging, it's due to a nutritional deficiency. Okay, and so I always ask about that because it saves a lot of lab work because you have white hair. Okay, and how much you weigh, sir?
155,
155.
5'7".
Okay, all right. And so oftentimes what happens is when you have osteoporosis of the skull, it'll squeeze the optic nerve, the optic artery, and the optic vein. And you get what's called macular degeneration, that part of the retina, the inside lining of the eye where the nerve, the optic nerve goes into the back of the eye, gets all inflamed and so forth, doesn't get enough blood. And so you might want to ask your eye doctor, is this macular degeneration? And see what he says about that. But anyway, how much?
155.
155, okay. So when you eat like an
What I
Asian.
could say this to you, you never asked. When I turn my neck like this,
Mhm.
in the quiet of the night, I do hear something.
Okay, now are you hearing clicking or are you hearing buzzing?
It's not buzzing, it's more or less like the vertebrae moving against each other, so to speak.
Okay, so it's yeah, okay, kind of a clicking thing. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Grinding or clicking or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so again, at 155 pounds, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to give up all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks, even the diet one's got to go. I want you to eat like an Asian, rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables and that kind of stuff. You want to use our Rebound sports drink instead of the colas. Okay. If you're going to use the cans, you got to pop the tops at night, put them in the refrigerator. Don't drink them until the next morning and the afternoon the next day. Okay. Don't pop the top and drink them right away because you don't want that carbonation. And if you want one right away, we have the Rebound canister, which is powder. We have the Rebound sticks, which is powder. And then you want the MSM. Get 2 bottles a month of MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time, and that'll support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, okay, and your skull, very important. And then you want the collagen peptides. Take a scoop of that in your morning drink, scoop of that in your evening drink. And let's see here, you need our vitamin D3, take 3 of those twice a day. I don't care what state you live in. Most adults sit in the shade when they go outside and just watch the kids take their shirts off and run around out in the sun. The adults sit in the shade. So you need the vitamin D3. And let's see, our Occutive, you could take our Occutive, get 2 bottles a month of our Occutive. So you can take 3 of those twice a day. And do you have any high blood pressure or diabetes?
No, fortunately, no.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's start there. And, give us a call every couple of weeks, anytime you see the doctor again, but certainly give us a call every couple of weeks and let us know how the vision's going, how the discomfort's going and so forth, any new symptoms or whatnot. But it wouldn't hurt to get a hold of that book set. It's all
in your head.
Yeah, it goes into 37 different diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull, including a squeezing of the optic artery, optic nerve, and optic vein. Okay,
Thank you.
you
Much
bet.
appreciated.
Okay, God bless.
All right. Thank you, Wayne.
You're welcome.
So Dr. Wallach, Donna has a question. She is 65 years old, 210 pounds. She wants to know what she can do for ringing in the ear. I think that's the right ear. and she has sciatic and hip pain in the left, and she has skin tags.
Okay. All right. Did she say how tall she was?
And she has lots of gray hair, silver hair coming on.
Okay, thank you. Did she say how tall she was?
She does not, but let me see if she puts that
Okay.
in the chat real quick.
Okay. So anyway, she needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. Needs to live like an Asian. Eat like rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables and fruit and berries and that kind of stuff. Then let's see here. If she's like 5'5", give or take an inch or two, either way. She needs to lose maybe 80 pounds. Okay, so she needs one meal a day to be our keto shake. It'll be the strawberry, the chocolate. It's not to add to a meal, but it's a meal replacer. Again, it's a meal replacer. Okay, our keto shake. And she will lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. Then she wants to start out with. She needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. She needs 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. She needs 1 canister of the collagen peptides, so you can take a scoop of that at breakfast, scoop of that at dinner. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, the tinnitus is osteoporosis of the skull. She needs to get a hold of that book and CD set called It's All in Your Head. That's the skull squeezing the auditory branch of the 8th cranial nerve, okay, causing the tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. She probably has some balance problems also. I'd be curious to know how many times a night she woke up to urinate, okay? And you say she's got some, is it psoriasis?
So she does have itching skin
Yeah.
and skin tags.
Okay, well, she needs, in addition to the MSM and collagen peptides, which the skin is 2/3 connective tissue, like tendons, okay? But she also needs the hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. There you go. It's all in your head. But she needs also the hair, skin, and nails. I take those. You take, I'm 83 years old and don't have much in the way of gray hair and so forth. I want her to take 3 of those twice a day. That's going to help her with the skin tags. It's going to help her with the gray hair, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And call us every couple of weeks or email us every couple of weeks. Give us a status report, what's going on or what's not going on. And we'll walk her through this because all of these things are related to nutritional deficiencies. None of them are due to aging.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And the Knowles family write in and they say, we are so grateful for you bringing this platform to everybody weekly. Can you please let Dr. Wallach know? Thank you so much the next time you email or talk with him. Many blessings, the Knowles family. And I'm pretty sure you know them.
Yes.
So awesome. Well, we have 3 more minutes, Dr. Wallach, and I want to ask a question about is it molluscum?
Molluscum?
Molluscum. Yes, molluscum. So there's a 5-year-old little girl who was diagnosed with molluscum. Her primary care physician said, oh, don't do anything with it. Then their 8-year-old daughter got the same thing. They went to a dermatologist. The dermatologist said they should have been taking treatments right away. But tell us, molluscum is a virus, I have learned, and it is contagious through touch. What can we do nutritionally to support their bodies to be able to have a standing chance of not have this as recurring if it's something that stays in the body?
Okay. Well, it is a virus. It's called molluscum contagiosum. Okay. And so in addition to putting colloidal silver, soak a cotton ball in colloidal silver 3 or 4 times a day and put it on those spots. They can be 1/2 inch in diameter or 3 inches in diameter, whatever it is. It could be multiple spots. I need to put it on there for say 10, 15 minutes, let the colloidal silver, work on killing those viruses. And then those spots need to have a covering. If it's on a leg or arm or something, that's easy because you can put a wrap around it. If it's on their belly or their back, you have to have some tape holding on a patch because they're rolling around on their covers at night, spreading that virus and rolling clean areas of their skin onto that virus contaminated sheets and covers and so forth. And they really have to watch it with each other. They can't use the same towel and wash rag and stuff like that, taking baths and showers and that kind of stuff, because it is contagious. Okay. And they do need to take one dropper full of the colloidal silver under their tongue before a half hour before each meal and a half hour before bedtime. But use the colloidal silver topically on those infection spots. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And if I can get my co-hosts up here, I can't believe it's already time to say farewell until next Friday.
Next week. Yeah.
Next week. But I want to make just a reminder to everybody. If this program was shared with you by anybody specific, get back with the person that shared this program with you. On AskDocLive.com, we do have the replays for all of our programs, all of our recordings that we've had with Dr. Wallach, with pharmacists. I think pharmacist Ben is there too, with the Q&A that we've had. And they're there for you to be able to watch and share with other people. This is giving information that's coming from the doctor, one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetic, who has over 30,000 autopsies under his belt in not just an animal world, because he started out as a veterinarian, as a pathologist, or started out as a pathologist, went to being a veterinarian, and then became a human doctor because the medical world did not take what he was saying serious. So he was able to open up clinics and start helping humans as well. And he had the vision to be able to go even bigger and better on a much more massive platform. And that's where we are here today, to help get this information out to the masses, because it is making a difference in everybody's life. Even if it's a little difference, for most people, it's a big difference. And it's, in some cases, that difference is saving lives, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. We work on the body as a whole because everything is connected. On behalf of myself, Rebecca Dukes-Kozak, and the Ask Doc Live team, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, Nasima Omar, John T. McCollier, Dr. Judy Reynolds, and Heather's electricity went out, and Dr. Joel Wallach, we thank you. We appreciate you for taking the time to consider investing in yourself. And we invite you to give us 90 days and feel the difference. So get back with the person that shared this program with you. If nobody specific shared this program with you, and you're part of the email list that we send out a newsletter to, we've got a couple of them, so I don't want to say which one, right, Jonty? Go ahead and do a reply. We have certified holistic health coaches that are available to help you find out exactly what you need. But most importantly, get back with the person that shared this program with you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you for all the great things you do. Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. We love you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.